When the universe expands beyond human understanding, there are places that exist beyond the limits of physics, time, and even sobriety. At the edge of the Reticulum constellation, an unusual signal echoes from an unknown planet. The expedition team of the Argus space station received the first mission to approach an unnamed planet, but the identifier in the system made them cold. T.L. 013, short for Dreckles. But this is not just an abandoned planet. Diary of the Leader, Zara Ventrix, Day 1. We landed on the planet's surface at 6:42 Universal Time Coordinated. The atmosphere is thick, but there is enough oxygen to breathe with the supporting device. There is no sign of life, but everything here, wrong. Very wrong. In front of us is a vast ruin. Sharp towers growing from the ground seem to be sucked back into the sky. There are works suspended in the air, without cables, without support pillars, only exist there. It is as if gravity here is bent on purpose. We detected a spiral ladder structure, but instead of going up or down, it twists around a non-existent axis. The path is unusually elongated, taking a step that the pedometer records up to 2.7 meters. Lieutenant Marin reported. The magnetic index is constantly fluctuating, sometimes 3 times higher than the Earth, sometimes almost zero. Under the rock, there is a reflective layer, possibly an alloy that does not belong to any known periodic table. The video recording is noisy. All tracking devices are blurry. We let drones fly around the area to build 3D maps. But after 12 minutes of flight, the drone turned around, carrying the image of ourselves walking, but from a perspective that no one in the group has ever passed. Video data analysis shows there is a copy of the expedition moving in the building before the drone took off. Another version of me is looking straight at the camera. I've never stood there. We give a temporary title to this building, Fifth Legislative Building, because although it has 4 walls and a roof, from every angle, it always appears in the shape of a cube, even when you look at it from the ground or from the side. Diary of Technical Assistant Juno, 2341, Day 1. I got lost in less than 3 minutes after entering a corridor. It branches, then merges. Every time I turn around, the back passage is gone. The wall changes color, but does not follow any light spectrum. A whisper appeared, as if someone was walking a room away from me, but the scanning signal did not detect any creatures. Sometimes I felt someone putting their hand on my shoulder, but when I turned around, there was no one. I left a sign with a glowing stone, but all 12 disappeared after a few minutes. When I returned to the starting point, I found that I had only walked 2 steps, but the heart rate and oxygen measurement kit said that I had been moving continuously for more than 3 hours. We don't know what this place is. We just know that it was not built by any species we have ever known. All laws of physics are distorted, even denied. But one thing is certain. This architecture is watching us. What is hidden in the undirected walls? Who, or what, created the ruins that do not follow any laws of the universe? In space, there is no absolute direction. But in the architecture on the planet T.L. 013, the direction is not only meaningless, but also dangerous. Each door is an option, and once wrong, may never come back. Diary of the Leader, Zara Ventrix, Day 2. We divided into 3 small groups to go deep inside the main structure of the 5th Legislative Hall. The communication system is still working, but the transmission line is always jammed. Each sentence seems to echo from myself. As my group walked through a silvery blue corridor, the end door opened, and we entered a room with suspended glass walls. No pillars, no frame, no background. We stepped on the surface like glass, but the weight measuring device recorded negative gravity of 0.6 g. Lieutenant Marin cautiously walked towards another door. He said, "I'm going first. Every 5 minutes if I don't come back, please." The door closed right behind him. There's no sound, no abnormal signs. But when we reopened, the other side was not Marin. It is a corridor, leading back to the starting point. We tried again, this time using a wired probe camera. After 12 meters, the rope is stretched, then broken. The image transmitted in the end is a door, just like the door we just opened. In the blurry frame, a shadow of a person, very similar to Marin, but his eyes are completely black. No contact, no white. Diary of Technical Assistant Juno, Date 2, 18:17. We went back to the structural center to join forces. But Engineer Sorrel began to have unusual manifestations. She talks nonsense in an unknown language. Not encrypted. Not ancient language. I sent the audio clip about the mothership. AI analyzed and recorded. The signal carries a modulated frequency that is compatible with the brainwave pattern when dreaming of four-dimensional space. No one understands what that means. Sorrel began to draw symbols on the wall. The spirals looked like mazes, but when checked again with a thermal scanner, they disappeared completely, leaving no trace. After an hour, Sorrel collapsed, his eyes widened, not reacting to the light. The heart rate is still stable, but the brain does not emit alpha or beta, but zeta waves. This is a wave that is only recorded in severe sleepwalking or in experiments implanting artificial signals into the posterior brain lobe. We left her in a low-energy isolation chamber. But what's more frightening is that every time I pass by the glass chamber, she looks straight at me, even though her eyes are still open. And in my headphones, there was a whisper, "The door is open, but it's not for you." Medical Team Diary, Dr. Han Lier, 21:44. I was watching Sorrel when the light suddenly flashed. In an instant, the disease room disappeared, replaced by a crimson horizon, thunder and lightning coiled around. I saw the members of the group, but they all turned their backs. Stand still. Do not move. And there is something wrong with their body shape. I blinked my eyes, and the disease came back. But the time on the clock has passed more than 19 minutes, although I only remember less than 10 seconds in my head. I checked the recording from the security system, and the terrible thing was, there were two me standing in the hospital room at the same time. One is real, and one is whispering in Sorrel's ear, but no sound is recorded. Zara, diary at the end of the day. I wonder, is this an architectural structure or an entity? Each corridor changes as if it has its own wisdom. The rooms react to emotions. The more scared, the more expanded the space. The more doubtful, the more chaotic the path. Sergeant Leo said he saw his mother who died 12 years ago, standing in the middle of the stairs, calling him in a real voice. But when he got closer, the stairs twisted backwards, and he fell down, but fell to the ceiling. We found him lying unconscious, with no injuries, but the blood under his nose flowed backwards, from his chin to his forehead. They think they're exploring an abandoned building. They thought this was just a trace of a destroyed civilization. But the deeper you go into the center, the more the expedition realizes this architecture is still in operation. And what is working? Not just a machine. Diary of the Leader, Zara Ventrix, Day 3. We reset the mobile data station after a temporary loss of contact with the mothership. During that time, the 3D map scanned by the drone before changed, but not because of wrong data. The entire structure has moved by itself. Every room, every corridor, like a giant Rubik's Cube rotating inside itself. The closer we get to the center of architecture, the clearer we see. Everything is being rearranged. Not chaotic, but purposeful. Engineer Vin reported from the central area. The code from the walls that emit light is originally just a meaningless sequence of numbers. But when applying the Mandelbrot sequence and rotating the mathematical axis according to the non-Euclidean logic system, a form of geometric language began to be revealed. The decoded data shows an energy diagram, like a living blueprint. In the center is a spherical structure suspended in the middle of space, rotating around the axis in a direction that the magnetic compass cannot locate. We call it the heart of the ruins. Diary of Assistant Juno, 15:12. We enter the central area through a spiral corridor, where time flows unsteadily. Each step is a change. The temperature ranges from -30 to +50 degrees for a few seconds. Each person's personal time meter is up to 47 minutes apart. When approaching Heart, a member, Sergeant Elon, reached out to touch the sphere. In an instant, his whole body twitched, and a voice sounded in everyone's walkie-talkie at the same time. "You guys are late." The voice came from Elon, even though his lips did not move. Not low, not high, but like an echo from our own consciousness. Each person heard that sentence in the voice of a deceased relative. Elon collapsed after that. His heart stopped beating, but the brain still emitted nerve waves for more than 17 minutes after his death. This waveform is unlike any form ever recorded in humans, but is almost like a high-end digital data signal. Zara, emergency diary. We thought this was an architecture built by hands, technology, or some extraterrestrial intelligence. But I gradually doubted. This structure was not built. It was born. Each part inside is like a living cell. The heart of the ruins is not the core of the machine, but a form of living brain. Every corridor and room is just a side. The appearance is just a cover, and we are the intruders of a sleeping ancient being. Engineer Vin's diary. After the Elon incident, 21:50, data from the system collects code fragments after filtering noise. There is only one string left, Omega 01. Function: maintain a stable reality. Condition: deterioration. Activate: restore foreign consciousness. We realize the horror. This architecture is a reality stabilizer, perhaps to keep the planet, or the universe itself, from collapsing. But it is getting weaker, and our presence may be disrupting it. Zara, words at the end of the day. We are no longer sure that we are in a three-dimensional space. Our shadow began to separate from the body. Members who used to be affected by voices can now not sleep, because every time they close their eyes, they dream that they are separated into countless copies. A last piece of code has just appeared from the heart before everything flashed off. Restore function, 1%. Need a compatible biological interface. Priority connection. Searching. Connect. Success.my name appears on the screen as engraved with light. Zara Ventrix. When the boundary between physics and irrational is disintegrated, when architecture turns into consciousness, and when a human being is chosen as an interface, the last question is Zara Ventrix really still human? Diary of the leader of the delegation, Zara Ventrix, Day 4. I no longer feel the time I used to feel. Each second passes like a decade stacked on top of each other. The architectural building no longer holds its stable shape. The walls do not stand still. The ceiling flows down like a liquid, then solidifies. After my name appeared, I felt like a part of my brain was dissected, not painful, but obvious. A stream of data flows into my mind, not through any eyes, ears, or senses. I not only see, but also became an architect. Feel each wall like an arm, each corridor like a blood vessel. Recording segment from the expedition's camera, reanalyzed by the mothership. Zara stands in front of the heart of the ruins. Her whole body is covered with a layer of light, like a conscious form of plasma. Around her, all objects were silent. The sound is drained. The room shook slightly, as if breathing. Internal data, extracted from Zara's brain, via deep neural wave recording technology, DSNR. This is not a construction, not a machine. This is a memory. A civilization created it, not to live, but not to be forgotten. Each room contains a fragment of memory. Each corridor is a transmission of ideas. We are in the mind of a species that has encoded itself into architecture. Juno, the last diary. Zara is no longer Zara. She communicates with light. Her eyes constantly changed color, and her voice, each sentence seemed to contain hundreds of layers of meaning. She told me, if I don't hold it, this structure will melt. And along with it is the entire local reality space. We are standing in the middle of a subcosmon, an artificial stable bubble. If it breaks, we will be pushed out into a place where nothing exists. She didn't give orders. She asked for permission. Zara, the last diary, recorded via bill and device. If someone finds this record, please don't try to find me. I'm not missing. I got into this structure. A part of me is now a shell, a part of a data stream, and a part is still a human. I choose to stay, not to explore, but to keep the memory of a civilization that once existed, and to protect the rest from what will happen if this place collapses. Not all architecture is for shelter. Some are built so as not to be forgotten. And maybe some are created to wait. If you hear my voice, this place is still there. And I'm still watching. The last segment, excerpt from Juno's diary, after leaving the planet T.L. 013. We retreated from the planet's surface as soon as the heart stopped broadcasting. The entire structure is closed. There are no open corridors left. When the ship left orbit, the brainwave measuring device on the ship suddenly recorded a new signal, like Zara's voice, but emitted not from the planet, but from inside the ship itself. We couldn't find the signal source. But in the navigation system, a text appears, no one types it. Architecture is never really motionless. It's just quiet, waiting for someone to listen. Ruins are not dead places. Sometimes, it's a place to sleep and dream. But if the dream is long enough, will it wake up? And when he wakes up, is it still itself? Illogical ruins, architecture does not obey the laws of physics, ends here. But what do you think, if there is a sequel, not about those who come in,